Hello and welcome to Cairns. This is going to be my ultimate guide to train travel in Australia. In the next few days, I'll be travelling from Cairns to Perth by the east coast of Australia and the Nullarbor Plain. The total distance is around 7,000 kilometers, which is about the same as the distance between London and New Delhi or Chicago and Paris. I hope by the end of this video, you'll be able to have a good understanding of Australia's rail network. It's going to be fun. Let's go.
Cairns is a world-famous tourist destination located in far north Queensland. It's a gateway to the iconic Great Barrier Reef and Wet Tropics World Heritage Rainforest. There are plenty of beautiful beaches along the city's coastline, but be aware not to get too close to the water because there are plenty of crocodiles and stingers in the region. Why would I choose to travel from Cairns to Perth? Well, if you look at this map, Cairns is the northmost railway station in Australia that is still regularly served by a government-run, long-distance, not-for-profit passenger train. And Perth is the western end of Australia's standard gauge rail network. I would like to summarize and compare the different passenger trains in Australia in one video before I move on and show you the train journeys in other parts of the world. Cairns Station is the northern terminus of Queensland's North Coast Line from Brisbane and the southern terminus of the Tablelands Railway Line to the Atherton Tableland. Adjacent to Platform 1, there's a Queensland Rail Travel Centre where you can book train tickets and holiday packages throughout Queensland. The station has two platforms. Platform 2 is used by the Corinda Scenic Railway and Platform 1 is mainly for the 5-weekly Spirit of Queensland service to Brisbane. The Spirit of Queensland is a name for 3 diesel tilting trains operating between Brisbane and Cairns. They replaced the Sunlander train in 2014. Each Spirit of Queensland consists of 9 cars. There are 2 push-pull power cars to drive the train and supply power to the carriages. Car A is a luggage and staff carriage. Car B and C are 2 railbed sleeper carriages. Car D is a lounge car. Car E, F and G are 3 economy carriages. At Cairns Station, luggage check-in commences 1 hour before departure and closes 30 minutes prior. Economy class passengers can check in 1 bag up to 20 kilos in weight. Railbed passengers can check in 2. They are stored in Car A. The staff are very strict on the weight limit. If your bag is over 20 kilos, you can still carry it on board with you. You just have to find an empty luggage rack to put your suitcase. For the first leg of my journey to Perth, I will be travelling in railbed all the way to Brisbane. I will then catch a New South Wales train to Sydney. The floor of the Spirit of Queensland is higher than the platform. Passengers are required to take a small step to get on the train. Ramps are available at every station for those who require assistance. The distance from Cairns to Brisbane is 1,681 kilometers. It takes the train around 25 hours to complete the trip. In 2010, the state government actually planned to expand each train from 9 to 14 carriages, adding 4 extra luxury sleeping carriages and 1 first-class lounge. Unfortunately, this project was scaled back in 2013 in order to save money. This is why the Spirit of Queensland only have these airline-style business class seating instead of the private cabins that the Sunlander used to offer. Between the railbed and the economy carriage is a lounge car. It offers a range of meals, snacks and beverages for passengers to purchase. It remains open throughout the night. However, they only accept card at the moment. The economy class seats are in a 2-2 configuration. All seats are covered in leather and have high back seating. There's an 8.9-inch seatback entertainment touchscreen. Each seat has a pitch of 42.5 inches or 108 centimeters. I can fully stretch my legs. There are 2 power points below the window and the seat offers a recline of 30 degrees. Compared to Car F and G, which have 51 economy seats in each carriage, Car E only has 36 seats. The additional space provides room for 3 accessible spaces. At the back of each carriage, there is a dedicated luggage space to store the carry-on suitcase. Because Car E is an accessible carriage, the toilet and shower in this car are accessible too. In other carriages, the toilet and shower are separate. Fresh towels are provided in rail bed only.
Good morning everyone, this train is the Spirit of Queensland, travelling to Brisbane and all intermediates. And is ready at 8:35.
The standard rail bed ticket between Cairns and Brisbane costs $389 one way. These seats are very popular. I booked mine 4 months in advance. As I have already made a very detailed trip review from Cairns to Brisbane last year, I'm only going to cover this journey again briefly. The rail bed ticket also includes morning tea, lunch, dinner and breakfast. Soon after we left Cairns, the morning tea was served. There's a choice of tea or coffee. The rail bed seats are in a 1-2 configuration, allowing both couples to sit together and solo travelers to have their own space. There's a large entertainment screen in front. The seat pitch is 81 inches or 206.5 centimeters. The remote control for the entertainment screen is embedded in the armrest. Below are the 4 buttons to control the recline. Next to the armrest there's a USB port and a headphone jack. Next to the headrest there's an adjustable reading light. Below that there's a cup holder with a complimentary bottle of water. Of course, the seat is equipped with a tray table and is very stable. There's a power point next to my right leg. Lastly, there's an amenity kit provided by Bubbles Organic. During the day, you can only recline your seat using the 4 control buttons. If you want to turn it into a flatbed, you'll have to ask the staff to do it for you. I'll show you later. In the seat pocket, there's a safety card, earphones, a menu and an onboard entertainment guide. The size of this high-definition entertainment screen is 18.5 inches. The remote is easy to use. The movies and TV shows are updated every 3 months. The scenery between Cairns and Brisbane is beautiful. Everything is so green. From Cairns to Gympie North, the Spirit of Queensland is an all-station service. There are a few stops along the way where passengers are encouraged to get off the train and stretch their legs for a few minutes. Tarlee is one of these stops. Shortly after leaving Tarlee, it's already lunchtime. This menu is exclusive to rail bed passengers. It's different to the menu in the lounge car. A complimentary beer, wine, soft drink, juice or water is included in lunch and dinner. For the main course, there's a hot gluten-free option and a cold vegetarian option. If you have any dietary requirement, you should inform Queensland Rail Travel when you book the ticket. The meal's quality and presentation are similar to the economy class meal on a long-haul international flight, but I'm glad to see that they provide china plates and stainless steel cutleries. The boneless chicken was cooked beautifully, and with the sauce it was flavorful and delicious. For dessert I picked panna cotta. Overall I have enjoyed my lunch. I just think the portion is a little bit small for me. I'll get hungry very soon. Six hours passed quickly in railbed. We are now in Townsville. There will be a crew change here in Townsville, therefore the train will stop here for 15 minutes. The station has a small customer lounge which offers tap water, air conditioning and power points. Townsville is the starting point for the Great Northern Railway line. The Inlander train operates twice weekly between Townsville and Mount Isa.
Good afternoon customers and welcome aboard this Spirit of Queensland service through to Brisbane Roma Street and all intermediate stations.
I started feeling hungry when we left Townsville, so I headed to the lunch car to purchase some food. There are 4 hot meal options available, each at the cost of $9.50. I didn't have any high expectation on the frozen meal, but this teriyaki chicken actually tasted really good. Chicken is boneless, the portion is generous, sauce is sweet, and it's very nice to mix with the rice. I'm more than happy to order it again in the future. The rest of my afternoon involves getting the work done on my laptop and continuing to appreciate the ever-changing scenery outside. After leaving Bowen, it's dinner time. While passengers in economy have to line up for their food, the staff delivered my dinner directly to my seat. Having enjoyed 2 tasty chicken dishes on the train, I was looking forward to this dinner. I picked mutton curry for my main. Unfortunately, it was very dry. Halfway through my dish, you can see there isn't much sauce at all. The beef was very dry too. The positives are that the meat portion was generous, I did not feel hungry throughout the night, and the curry tasted nice. It was mild, so anyone can handle it. Proserpine is a small transport hub for people who wish to holiday in Airlie Beach and the Whitsundays. Queensland Rail offers a coach connection to Airlie Beach from this station. It was almost 8 PM when the train left Mackay. Lights in the carriages will be turned off at 9 PM. If you would like to have your seats turned into a bed, you can let the staff know by pressing the orange button above each rail bed. The staff have a special key that allows the seat back to fold and become a single bed. Every single bed comes with a doona and 2 pillowcases. When the bed is down, you can still access the PowerPoint, tray table, the water bottle, the reading light, the USB port, the headphone jack, and the remote control. The bed is fairly wide. It's definitely comfortable enough for one night of sleep. Lights were dimmed at exactly 9 PM. The staff would not make any announcement until 6 AM the following day. Like I mentioned in last year's video, the rail bed's biggest downside is its lack of privacy, and if you sit close to the doors, the light in the hallway can be very bright. So I would recommend bringing an eye mask with you if you are a light sleeper. I fell asleep at around 9:30 and woke up just after midnight to film the arrival into Rockhampton. The North Coast Railway line travels through the centre of Rockhampton City. It runs down the middle of Denison Street, just like a tram. Rockhampton is a major junction station for Queensland Rail travel train services. You can catch the Spirit of the Outback train to Longreach, the Spirit of Queensland to Cairns, and the fastest train in Australia, the Electric Tilt train to Brisbane in under 8 hours. In my last year's video, some people complained in the comment for not mentioning Bundaberg. Well, here we are. At 3:52 AM, we arrived at Bundy. Bundaberg is home to the Bundaberg ROM, the train station and the terminus of the Bundaberg Tilt train. Since I'm already awake, let me show you the shower before everyone else wakes up. There's an accessible shower in the accessible toilet. In my carriage, the shower is in a separate room. There's a foldable chair and 2 hooks behind the door. The shower head is slightly adjustable and the body wash is provided. The water is warm, but the pressure is small. Or perhaps I should say very small. It took me a while to rinse the shampoo off my hair, but well, it still did the job. There's a bin just outside the shower room for you to put the wet towel. Although the train won't arrive in Brisbane until 9:30 am, carriage lights were turned on at exactly 6 am for the staff to serve breakfast at 7. There's a continental and hot option for breakfast. So, this is my third time travelling on the Spirit of Queensland. The staff were lovely as usual, the rail bed lacks privacy but it still provides an affordable alternative to flying and driving. I have enjoyed this journey.
And a very good morning once again everyone. In approximately 10 minutes time, our Spirit of Queensland service will be terminating at Brisbane's Roma Street Station, platform 3.
Welcome to Brisbane Roma Street. Normally, all Queensland rail travel trains depart and terminate at platform 10. However, due to the necessary Cross River Rail construction, my train terminated at platform 3 today. Other than the Spirit of Queensland to Cairns, from this station you can catch the Westlander train to Charleville, the Spirit of the Outback to Longreach via Rockhampton, the Electric Till train to Bundaberg and Rockhampton, and the XPT to Sydney. The hotel that I picked for my one-night stay in Brisbane is Sofitel Brisbane Central. What I like about this hotel is its location. The hotel entry is just 10 steps away from the train station. The cheapest room at this 5-star hotel typically costs $299 a night. It was only $199 on the night that I intended to stay, so I decided to give it a go. Although it was only 10:30 in the morning, the friendly receptionist allowed me to check in early. Look at this view! I paid a little bit extra to get a city view room on the high floor. My room is 32 square meters in size and this is what it looks like. Overall, I was satisfied with my stay and the price I paid. Good morning! Today I'll be heading to Sydney. Brisbane Roma Street Station has 10 platforms. Platform 10 is used by Queensland Rail Travel long-distance train services. Platform 4 to 9 are used by Brisbane suburban trains. Platform 3 is not usually in use. Platform 2 is an island platform. One side is used by New South Wales XPT service to Sydney, and the other side is a bus platform. Together with Platform 1, they are used by 8 bus routes. New South Wales Trainlink offers a daily Brisbane XPT service that travels between Sydney Central and Brisbane Roma Street. As the Queensland Government doesn't want the train to arrive during peak hours, the XPT arrives Roma Street at very early hours in the morning. This is also not a very reliable service. The train sometimes terminates in northern New South Wales and the remainder of the journey gets replaced by a road coach. For example, this morning's service to Brisbane terminated in Grafton. Passengers travelling to Brisbane would have been woken up at midnight to catch the coach from Grafton to Brisbane at 1 am. Other than being unreliable, Brisbane to Sydney is a daytime service. No sleeper is offered on this 14-hour-long journey. Therefore, I do not recommend you to book the Brisbane XPT service. So, how do I get to Sydney? Adjacent to Platform 10 is the Brisbane Coach Terminal. You can catch a coach to Cairns, Toowoomba, Western Queensland and down to Sydney from here. At 2:30 PM every day, New South Wales Trainlink operates a road coach from here and terminates at Casino Station in New South Wales 4 hours later. You can then catch the overnight Casino XPT to Central. This train has sleeper cabins, and this is how I will travel to Sydney today. New South Wales Trainlink has a ticket office at the coach terminal. You can check in your suitcase here. The weight limit is the same as Queensland Rail, 20 kilos per item. After checking in, I was given a boarding pass and a luggage tag for my suitcase. The ticket office is tiny, there's no space for luggage storage. I still have to hold on to my bag until the bus arrives. The bus arrived 15 minutes before departure. If you are travelling to Sydney, the bus driver will automatically transfer your checked bags onto the train in Casino. It's pretty convenient. There's no allocated seating on the coach, you can sit wherever you like. There are 48 seats in total and 1 accessible space. There's a toilet at the back. The seat has average legroom and good recline. Compared to Greyhound, Murray's and other private coach companies, this coach looks a bit dated. There are USB ports above each seat, but some of them do not work, such as the ones above my seat. In fact, on this entire bus, there's only one USB port that works properly. The Pacific Motorway from Brisbane to the New South Wales border is well known for its traffic congestion. But don't worry, New South Wales Trainlink has taken the traffic factor into its timetable. The bus usually arrives Casino on time. Welcome to New South Wales. The traffic finally eased once we crossed the state border. Even with the traffic delay, the bus arrived at Casino Station half an hour ahead of schedule. Other than not being able to charge my phone, the ride was smooth and comfortable. Casino is located around 228 kilometers south of Brisbane. The town was originally named Casino with 2 S after the historic hillside town of Monte Cassino in Italy. It is believed that the town's name with a single S was a result of spelling error on official documents. Casino Station is served by 2 daily XPT services to Sydney and 1 to Brisbane. There's a waiting room with vending machines, toilets, TV, ticket office and mobile charging cables. There's no power point for mobile phones on the XPT, therefore this facility is very useful. Here it comes! The daytime XPT from Sydney has just arrived at Casino Station. The train staff will have just 1 hour to turn around this train. The XPT, short for Express Passenger Train, was first introduced 40 years ago in 1982. This 7-car set has 5 passenger carriages, 1 first-class sleeper, 2 first-class and 2 economy class. There's an aerodynamically designed power car at each end of the train, one pulling and the other one pushing. Casino is a small town with just around 10,000 people. How can it support a daily XPT train? Most passengers joining the XPT in Casino came from the New South Wales Trainlink coaches. There are 4 coaches every night connecting Casino with Brisbane, Gold Coast and towns in northern New South Wales. If the Queensland government wasn't so strict on the arrival time of the XPT, I think it would have been possible to see 2 XPT trains in Brisbane daily. Boarding commenced 20 minutes before departure. Let's have a look at the economy class carriage first. If you can't check in your suitcase, you can carry it on board with you and store it at the luggage racks at the rear of each carriage. The seats are in a 2-2 configuration, each with a generous amount of legroom and a recline of 28 degrees. Unlike the Spirit of Queensland, which has a dedicated lounge car, the XPT only has a buffet located in the first-class carriage. It will open for service when the train departs Casino. There are 2 accessible spaces in the first-class carriage, as well as an accessible toilet with baby change table. The first class seats are the exact same as economy class. The only 2 differences are each seat has a few extra centimeters of leg space and 40 degrees of recline. Finally, this is a first class sleeper. Along with the Spirit of the Outback in Queensland, these are the only 2 types of trains in Australia that still provide private sleeping cabins on government-run long-distance passenger trains. There are a total of 9 compartments, and between each compartment is a bathroom shared among the passengers in the adjacent 2 compartments. Where are the beds? Well, during the day, each compartment is a 3-seater lounge. From Sydney to Casino, for example, New South Wales Trainlink sells these seats as first-class day-seater. Compared to the normal first-class seats, they can't recline but are wider and have more privacy. On the overnight service, these 3 seats can be turned into a single bed. Together with a fold-down bed above, they form a twin-bed cabin. There's an individually controlled reading light above each seat. The seats have ample legroom. There's a bin and a tray table storage unit below the window. There are 2 wardrobes to hang your jacket, a mirror and a power point. However, don't get too excited, the power is for shaver only. If you want to use it to charge your phone, please do so at your own risk. Above the mirror and the cabin door, there are 2 storage spaces, each should be big enough to store a carry-on suitcase. If traveling alone, you may have to share the sleeping compartment with another person. If you want to have the whole cabin to yourself, then you'll have to pay double the price. The bathroom adjacent to each compartment is very compact and old school. There's a sink, toilet and shower facility in this tight space. Oh, I thought that was a hand dryer. If you are like me who finds the bathroom too small or unhygienic, follow me. You can use the toilet in car B. It's much more spacious and it actually has a hand dryer. Bed linens, towels, toiletries and a complimentary breakfast are provided in the first-class sleeper. There's also a snack pack with water, crisps, biscuits and amenity kit placed in my cabin. The towel looks fairly clean. Here's what's inside the amenity kit. They are pretty useful. As soon as we left Casino, the staff announced 3 hot meal options available for purchase in the buffet. Tonight, the choices are roast pork, lemon myrtle chicken and vegetable lasagna. Other than those, there are meat pies, sausage rolls, sandwiches and different snacks. Each hot meal costs $10.50, or you can purchase it with a non-alcoholic beverage for $12.50. It takes 45 minutes for the meal to be heated up. The staff offered to bring it to my cabin when it's ready. The tray tables are stored under the window, and this is how you retrieve them. I haven't had any food since I left Brisbane, therefore I purchased 2 meal combos for $25. The staff at the buffet accept both cash and card. Each meal comes with a hot bread roll with butter. Gluten-free bread is available upon request. The chicken meal includes a small piece of boneless roasted thigh with broccoli, carrot, capsicum and zucchini topped with tomato sauce and mountain pepper. I could taste a hint of honey in the chicken, which made the meal slightly sweet. I loved it. The chicken is very juicy. In terms of the pork meal, there are 2 slices of roasted pork shoulder with diced potatoes, broccoli and carrots topped with apple balsamic sauce. The sauce is a little dry and the pork tastes bland. The chicken meal is a clear winner for me. Due to the small portion size, I think an average adult will need to eat 2 meals in order to be full. The XPT is scheduled to arrive in Sydney at 6:44 tomorrow morning. After dinner, it's time for an early bed. Each cabin door is lockable from the inside with curtains covering all windows. Compared to the Spirit of Queensland, these cabins have such good privacy. You can ask the staff to put the bed down for you, but I think it's more fun to do it yourself. The staff have already put on fresh sheet, quilt cover and pillowcases before departure. Although the train's interior looks dated, tired and a bit dirty, the linens they provide are soft and clean. If there are 2 of you in the cabin, you can rotate the handle and pull down the upper berth. There's a small ladder to help you climb up there. There are 2 light switches near the cabin door. One is for the main light and the other is for the night light. When both lights are off, the cabin is almost completely dark. I think I have now covered everything about the sleeper cabin, so good night. The XPT is not as smooth as the tilt trains in Queensland, but it's still smoother than the GAN, Indian Pacific or the Overland. The temperature in the cabin is quite warm. I don't think anyone would get cold at night. Good morning. When I was asleep, we travelled through New South Wales North Coast and Hunter region. We are now at Broadmeadow Station, just outside Newcastle. It's time to try out the shower. To transform a toilet into a shower is pretty straightforward. Just lock the door, close the 2 curtains, and it becomes a shower room within seconds. The shower head is slightly adjustable. The water pressure is quite good. The water is warm. It feels much more pleasant than showering on the Spirit of Queensland. After the shower, you can put a wet towel in the bin provided under the seat in your cabin. A complimentary breakfast is served at around 5:30. It includes cornflakes, your choice of juice, tea, coffee or hot chocolate. The staff took my breakfast order when we left casino last night. In summary, even though the XPT is over 40 years old, I still had a pleasant overnight sleep in the first-class sleeper cabin. The XPT is going to retire in 2023 when the new regional train fleet arrives in New South Wales. It's believed that the new fleet will not have a sleeper carriage, so if you would like to experience the sleeper, the clock is ticking. Welcome to Sydney Central Railway Station, the busiest and biggest train station in Australia. It's currently undergoing a significant upgrade. There are 27 platforms at this station. Platform 1 to 12 are dead-end platforms used mainly by New South Wales Trainlink interstate, regional and intercity services. You can catch a train from Sydney to Canberra, Brisbane, Melbourne, Adelaide and even Perth. Platform 13 and 14 are currently closed and will be used by the new driverless metro line once the construction is complete. The former Platform 15, which was used as a maintenance platform, is permanently closed. Platform 16 to 25 are used by Sydney suburban train services. And in terms of Platform 26 and 27, the construction started in the early 20th century, but they were never completed. The hotel that I'm staying at in Sydney this time is Travelodge Hurstville. Hurstville is 19 minutes from Central Station by train. The hotel is a 3-minute walk from Hurstville Station, located opposite to Westfield Shopping Centre. The reason for me to choose this place is for its price. I paid $116 per night. Everything at this hotel looks and smells brand new. The bathroom is spacious and I especially like the shower. It has both rain shower and handheld shower head. The size of the room is a little bit small, 24 square meters, but the bed is a king and there are USB ports next to both sides of the bed. The only thing that I don't like is the lack of a work desk. The round table is too small and the chair is too low for me to work on my laptop comfortably. Other than that, everything is perfect. The easiest and quickest way to travel to Perth by train is to catch the Indian Pacific via Broken Hill and Adelaide. The train leaves Sydney every Wednesday, arrives in Adelaide 24 hours later on Thursday, and gets into Perth on Saturday afternoon. I have reviewed my Indian Pacific experience from Sydney to Adelaide last year. I don't think there's need for me to review it again. So, how am I going to get to Adelaide? Welcome to day 5. If you look at this map again, from Sydney to Adelaide I can go via Broken Hill with the Indian Pacific or go via Melbourne. New South Wales Trainlink operates 2 daily XPT service from Sydney to Melbourne. However, I want to add more train varieties to this video, so this morning I will catch the New South Wales Explorer train to Canberra and then tomorrow I will travel with V-Line to Melbourne. New South Wales Trainlink operates 3 return services from Sydney to Canberra every day, 1 in the early morning, 1 at midday and 1 in the afternoon. Same as the XPT, you can check in your suitcase if it's above 5 kilos and under 20 kilos. The luggage drop-off point is at platform 1. It opens from 6 AM to 10 PM daily.
The next train to arrive on platform 6 goes to Canberra. First stop Mittagong, then Bowral, Mossvale, Bundanoon, Goulburn, Tarago, Bungendore, Queanbeyan and Canberra.
The New South Wales Explorer is a class of diesel multiple unit trains first entered service in 1993. They were used to replace the aging locomotive hauled rolling stock. They typically come in a 2, 3 or 4 car formation. The service to Canberra this morning is operated by a 3-car set. There's no sleeper on the Explorer. Car A is a first-class carriage, Car B and D are economy. Alphabet C is reserved and only used on a 4-car set. Car D is an accessible carriage with 2 wheelchair spaces. It also has an accessible toilet. If you didn't check in your suitcase, there are luggage racks in each car. The seats on the Explorer are similar to those on the XPT. The economy class seats are in a 2-2 configuration. Car A is a buffet and first class carriage. The menu is the same as on the XPT. The first class seats are also in a 2-2 configuration. The legroom is a bit worse than the XPT first class seats. The seat recline is 40 degrees. Since first and economy are very similar and I don't recline my seat if someone is sitting behind me, I decided to save money and only booked economy class. This is my seat in car B. Other than only having 28 degrees of recline, I can't see any difference between first and economy. At the back of each seat, there's a footrest, a seat pocket with 1 bag to put your rubbish, and a big tray table. Above each seat, there's no individual air vent, but there's a reading light. I've already showed you the accessible toilet in car D. This is what the other toilets look like in car B and A. The service to Canberra is rather popular. The whole train is pretty much fully booked. The luggage rack looks quite full too. Hint hint, checking in the suitcase saves you the hassle of finding an empty luggage space on board. You may have noticed that there are some Waratah trains parked at Central and Eveleigh Maintenance Centre. This is due to a planned industrial action by the union banning rail workers from operating foreign-made trains for 24 hours. Here's another Waratah sitting at Campbelltown Station. The buffet opened after the train left Campbelltown. It accepts both cash and card. For breakfast, the hot options include ham and cheese toastie, egg and bacon Turkish roll, beef pie, sausage roll, and scones. Stevenson Village Pies. I've never seen this brand before. It's made locally in Dubbo, New South Wales. Let's see. They used pulled beef as a filling. The sauce is not too thick, meat is moist and not salty. I also love the crunchy and thin crust. This meat pie cost me $6. I think it was worth the money. I was really excited when I saw that they had scones. I love them, so I bought 2 servings. For each serving, I got 1 scone, some jam and cream. Guess how much it cost me? $6.50. Yes, apparently 1 scone with jam and cream is more expensive than a pie filled with meat. Putting the price aside, the scone was warm when I bought it, the jam and the cream tasted fresh. I enjoyed it. I just think $6.50 for only 1 scone is very expensive. The amount of jam and cream that they provide is enough for 2 scones. The line between Campbelltown and Goulburn is also served by the Intercity Southern Highlands trains, therefore the Explorer only stops at major stations, namely Campbelltown, Mittagong, Bowral, Moss Vale, Bundanoon and Goulburn. Apart from this train service, Murray's coach provides hourly departures from Sydney Central to Canberra City. The journey by coach is half an hour quicker, but I think the best part of travelling by rail is the scenery outside. Even on a rainy day, it's still very beautiful. The seats on the Explorer are also more comfortable, there's more space to move around on the train, and I can purchase food from the buffet. A few kilometers west of Goulburn Station, at Droppa Junction, the Explorer train branched off from the main South Line and joined the Bombala Railway line towards Canberra. Queanbeyan, it's the last stop before Canberra. The station is located only a few hundred meters from the Australian Capital Territory border. Just before the border, the Bombala line continues south towards Cooma and Bombala. However, the line south of Cooma was closed in 1986 and passenger services south of Queanbeyan ceased in 1988.
On behalf of New South Wales Train Link, your onboard crew and your drivers today, we'd like to thank you for travelling with us and we hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
Welcome to Canberra. Although the railway line to Bombala was closed, New South Wales Trainlink still offers coach connections to Cooma, Bombala, Eden, as well as Yass Junction and Cootamundra. Canberra Station is located in the suburb of Kingston. There's a bus stop outside the station which can take you to Fyshwick, the City, Belconnen and Fraser. Since we are no longer in New South Wales, Sydney's Opal card is not accepted here. Canberra has its own bus system, and its transport card is called My Way. It only takes 15 minutes to get to the city by bus. In 2019, Canberra opened its first light rail line that connects the city with the northern town centre of Gungahlin. The line is planned to extend south to Walden in the next 10 years. And yes, these are the same model as the crack trams in Sydney. There's a ticket vending machine installed on each platform. You can use it to purchase a ticket or top up your My Way card. I just caught the light rail from the city to Ipima Street Station. It only took me 4 minutes. The hotel that I picked for my stay in Canberra is Deco Hotel. It's located on Northbourne Avenue and is a 4-minute walk from Ipima Street light rail stop. What I like about this hotel are first, the location, and second, the space. I booked a king room, which is the cheapest room type at this hotel, yet the room size is 51 square meters. It has a work desk, a bar fridge stocked with different drinks, then there's also an empty mini fridge to put your own things. That's very considerate. There's a dining table followed by a king bed and a lounge area with a massive LCD TV. This room is designed to cater everyone's needs. But what I like the most is the technology used in this room. Every control button is touch sensitive. I can open and close the curtains at the touch of a button. It's very fancy and convenient. Lastly, the shower water is very big and the room is spotless. I honestly couldn't find anything to fault with during my stay here. I paid $167 for the one-night stay, which is the average price for Canberra. There are many ways to travel between Canberra and Melbourne. I could catch the Explorer train back to Goulburn and change for the overnight XPT, or catch the New South Wales train and coach to Yass Junction and change for the daytime XPT. Jolimont Tourist Centre is a coach terminal in Canberra CBD. Greyhound and Murray's are the two major coach operators here. You can catch them to Sydney, Melbourne, Wollongong, New South Wales South Coast and the Snowy Mountains. Victoria's regional passenger transport operator V-Line also operates a daily coach service from here to Albury and Wodonga, where people can connect onto a V-Line train to Melbourne. And this is what I'm going to do today. V-Line does not have an office in Canberra, so you need to hold on to your suitcase and present your ticket to the driver when the bus arrives. The official weight limit for each bag is 20 kilos. The seats are in a 2-2 configuration. Unlike travelling on New South Wales Trainlinks coaches, you must sit in your allocated seat when travelling on V-Line. You can select your desired seat when making your booking online. The coach is equipped with one accessible space and there's a toilet at the back. The seat has good legroom and offers a decent recline, but there's no USB port installed on this coach. After leaving Canberra, we drove on A25 Barton Highway towards Yass. The New South Wales section of the highway currently only has one lane in each direction, but as you can see, the duplication work is already underway. This coach is not a direct service to Albury-Wodonga. The driver has to make a few stops along the way. Yass is a small town approximately 45-minute drive away from Canberra. If you catch the New South Wales Trainlink coach, you can connect onto the XPT train from here to Melbourne. The V-Line coach made a quick stop at Yass Town Centre to pick up passengers before joining the M31 Hume Highway.
Okay folks, here you've come to Guy. We're still a timetable service folks, we're running a little bit behind, so yeah, once again please don't wander off. We only have a 10-minute break here.
The ride from Canberra to Wodonga is scheduled to be 4 hours and 35 minutes long. The coach made a 10-minute stop in Gundagai for passengers to stretch their legs and use the toilet. As we continue heading west, I'm glad to see that the sky is slowly clearing up. It's great to be able to see the sun again. Before we know it, we are already in Albury. Both Albury and Wodonga have a train station, but Albury station is busier and is rich in history. Before the rail track to Melbourne was standardised, Albury was a break-off gauge station for trains between Sydney and Melbourne. The platform in Albury is the second longest in New South Wales, only a little bit shorter than Central Station's Platform 1. Albury is the terminus of V-Line's 3 daily train service from Melbourne. I could have got off the coach here in Albury, however, passengers travelling on the V-Line train service are required to carry a printed paper ticket, therefore I have to go to Wodonga to print my ticket. The twin cities of Albury in New South Wales and Wodonga in Victoria are geographically separated by the Murray River. Welcome to Victoria. This Wodonga railway station was opened in 2011. It replaced the original station in the centre of the city as part of the Wodonga Rail Bypass project. I've finally got my ticket. Again, unlike New South Wales Trainlink where the coach driver would transfer my suitcase to the station staff for me, on V-Line I have to take my suitcase off the coach and hand it to the station staff myself. V-Line has a much lower checked luggage allowance than any other major train operator in Australia. The new weight limit for each bag is only 16 kilos.
Your attention please, next train arriving on the platform shortly will be the 12:54 service to Melbourne.
The train that will take me to Melbourne is a standard gauge V-Line Ansett hauled by an N-class locomotive. I filmed this trip on the 2nd of July. All standard gauge Ansets were retired on the 30th of July, which means the train that you're seeing now is no longer in regular service. From the 31st of July, all of V-Line's Albury service have been replaced by the newly built standard gauge Velocity trains. I will show you what the new trains look like later. The standard gauge Ansett typically came in a 5-carriage configuration. At the front is a power van, followed by 1 first-class carriage and 3 economy-class carriages. The stop in Wodonga was very brief. The train had already started before I was able to get to my seat. As I was travelling during the school holiday, the train was really full. To protect passengers' privacy, some footages were taken after everyone disembarked in Melbourne. This is Car D, an economy class carriage located at the rear of the train. The economy seats are in a 2-3 configuration. There are 2 accessible spaces at the front with 1 accessible toilet. Car C is also an economy class carriage. There's a toilet at the rear. Luggage storage space is limited on the Ansett. If you didn't check in your suitcase, you can store them here. The economy class seats are not equipped with tray tables, and because they are face-to-face seating, the legroom is limited and the seats are not reclinable. Car B is another economy class carriage. The layout is similar to C and D, except there's a cafe bar at the front. The Ansett is the only type of V-Line train that still has first class. As luggage storage space is so limited, some passengers have to put their luggage behind the last row of the first class seats. V-Line allows seat selection if booked online. I selected the seat in the last row so that I can recline my seat freely. The seats are similar to those on the XPT and Explorer. They are in a 2-2 configuration. The legroom is excellent. Each seat is equipped with a footrest, seat pocket and a tray table. The seats offer plenty of recline. The cushions are very thick, which made the seat very comfortable to sit in. All seats in first class face the direction of travel, as all of them are rotatable. The cafe bar opened when the train left Albury. There's a variety of hot and cold snacks available. The items here are slightly cheaper than on the XPT. In order to enhance passenger safety, V-Line doesn't sell alcohols on board. The staff accept both cash and card payment. Let's try the meat pie. The beef in this pie was sourced from King Island and the pie was baked in Bairnsdale, Victoria. It's good to see that both New South Wales Trainlink and V-Line prioritise local producers for their buffet car. At first, the filling tasted like minced beef. Then, as I kept eating, I found large chunks of beef as well. After reading the ingredients, Right, there are 25% of chunked beef and 17% of minced beef in there. The pie is very meaty, however it tastes a little bit dry compared to the double-made one. The crust is thin, I still enjoyed it. V-Line doesn't offer any hot meals in its cafe bar, therefore I purchased a hot dog as well. The bread was heated in the microwave. Both the pie and the hot dog were provided with tomato sauce. From Albury to Melbourne, the train stops at all stations between Albury and Seymour. This is a very popular service. The first class was fully booked after Wangaratta. Seymour is a junction station for Victoria's North East Line to Albury and Goulburn Valley Line to Shepparton. It's also the terminus of V-Line's intercity Seymour line, which provides up to 14 departures to Melbourne on weekdays. As the trains on the Seymour line usually stop at all stations, after Seymour my train became a direct service to Melbourne, stopping only at Broadmeadows.
Overnight customers are about a minute away from our final stop, Melbourne Southern Crossing Station. Before you leave the train, please ensure you have all your belongings with you.
Welcome to Melbourne! The introduction of the new trains means passengers can enjoy a more comfortable ride on the Albury line. However, as a rail fan, it's always emotional to see an older rolling stock retiring from mainline service. The good news is that not all carriages will be sent to scrap. In August, V-Line delivered a few of these disused carriages to 707 Operations, a not-for-profit volunteer organisation that maintains heritage railway rolling stocks in Victoria. Therefore, I'm sure we'll still be able to ride on these carriages with 707 Operations in the future for many more years to come. So this is the train that replaced the NSAT, the standard gauge Velocity. Each Velocity train has 3 carriages. Depending on the demand, they can operate as a 3-car set or couple together with another Velocity and form a 6-car set. Each 3-car set has 6 accessible spaces, 6 bike storage spaces, and there's a cafe bar in the middle car. There's no first class on the new train because the economy class is pretty much equivalent to the first class on the NSAT. The seats are in a 2-2 configuration with ample legroom. Each is equipped with a tray table and a USB port. The only downside is that they are not rotatable, so half the seats do not face the direction of travel. Southern Cross Station is the busiest railway station in Victoria. There are 16 platforms in total. Platform 1 and 2 are dual gauge tracks allowing the Overland, New South Wales XPT and the Albury trains to terminate here. Platform 3 to 8, 15 and 16 are mostly used by V-Line trains, and Platform 9 to 14 are used by Melbourne suburban trains. Sometimes you might be able to see some vintage trains passing through the station as well. The hotel that I picked for my stay in Melbourne is Oaks South Yarra. The only reason for me to stay here instead of somewhere in the city is because it's right next to the heritage-listed South Yarra station. I could have just booked a cheap studio room, however, in order to see the train movement from my room, I paid $40 extra to upgrade myself to a 1-bedroom apartment. I've been looking forward to this stay since I booked the hotel. I especially asked for a room with a station view. The hotel confirmed it, and this is what they got me. The hotel has 10 floors and they gave me a room on level 1. How unfortunate. Because of the proximity to the street, my room is noisy, there's no view, I could barely see the train. The balcony has no privacy, I was very disappointed. Other than that, the room size is 52 square meters, it was clean, and the facilities include a small TV, a kitchen, and a washer and dryer combo. After scanning the QR code on the guest compendium, I realized that the hotel had a rooftop. Wow, the view is so much better. I paid $340 for my 2-night stay. I think they should charge a cheaper rate for rooms on the lower floors than those on the higher floors. Through my travel from Brisbane to Melbourne, you can tell that New South Wales and Victoria have excellent rail coverage throughout the state. I had more than one way to travel between the cities. South Australia used to have an extensive rail network too, however today the SA government no longer operates any long-distance trains.
V-Line customers, the 6:50 Adelaide service will be arriving shortly at platform 2. The 6:50 Adelaide service will be arriving shortly at platform 2. Please stand clear of the yellow line. Thank you.
The Overland, subsidised by Victoria and South Australia state governments and operated by Journey Beyond, is the only passenger train that still connects Melbourne with Adelaide. It first entered service in 1887. In 2022, the Overland operates one return trip per week. It's hauled by a Pacific National NR class locomotive with 2 red class carriages, 1 lounge car, 2 red premium carriages and 1 power van. This train has just arrived in Melbourne. I will catch it tomorrow morning on its return journey to Adelaide. As the Overland is a standard gauge train, it usually uses platform 2 at Southern Cross Station. If you would like to check in your suitcase, the luggage hall is situated under the Burke Street Bridge. Both Red and Red Premium passengers can check in 2 bags. The weight limit for Red Premium is 30 kilos per bag and for Red is 20 kilos. Boarding commenced at approximately 30 minutes before departure. Cars C and D are red class carriages. There's a toilet at the rear of each car, and I think all of them are accessible. The seats in Red are in a 2-2 configuration. Around 5 rows in car C are reserved for V-Line passengers. If you are travelling within Victoria, for example from Melbourne to Neale, you can book this train on V-Line's website and enjoy V-Line's fares and concessions. The Red seats offer excellent legroom. I can comfortably fully stretch my legs. Each seat also provides a bit of recline. The tray table is hidden inside the armrest. There's a blind for each window. It's shared with a seat in front or behind you. Separating the Red and Red Premium carriages is a lounge car. It looks very old school. There's no power point nor USB plug near any Red or Red Premium seat, but we can find plenty of power points in the lounge car. The other half of this carriage is a kitchen and a licensed buffet. It will open as soon as the train departs Melbourne. Car A and B are two red premium carriages. They have the exact same layout. The seats are in a 1-2 configuration. They have double the leg space compared to the red seats. One thing to note is that seat selection is not available when you book the ticket. The staff will let you know the seat number when you check in at the station. But don't worry, if you are traveling alone in Red Premium, unless the train is really full, you'll be allocated a single seat. The railway line from Melbourne to Adelaide was originally built as broad gauge. Following the gauge conversion in 1995, the Overland now travels over the longer standard gauge line, first heading southwest towards North Shore Geelong before heading north and returning to its original route in Ararat. The carriages of today's Overland were constructed between 1950 and 1972. They are old. The ride can get very loud and bumpy. For passengers travelling in Red Premium, the ticket includes breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea, and unlimited non-alcoholic beverages. Breakfast was served not long after we left Melbourne. There are two choices. Again, if you have any special dietary requirements, you should inform the reservation office when you book the ticket. The food looks like a simplified version of the Gan and Indian Pacific meals. The ingredients are fresh and the food is flavorful. I have already filmed an Overland review in 2021, therefore I'm only going to cover this trip very briefly. The lounge car is my favorite place to be throughout the journey. The Red Premium seat is comfortable, but it doesn't have any PowerPoint near me. Sitting in the lounge car allows me to get some work done and enjoy the scenery at the same time, as the window is directly in front of me.
Hot chocolate and latte. So that's the hot chocolate this side.
The buffet offers a range of snacks and beverages. There's a proper coffee machine here and the staff are trained to make barista-style coffees. The payment is card only. Oh, did I just see scones in the fridge? Yes, I did. For $4 I can get 2 scones here and they come with jam and cream. The meals that they serve in Red Premium are available for purchase for passengers in Red. The breakfast that I just had was $15. Would you like to see what the other side of the kitchen looks like? The manager on this train was super lovely.
This is the ovens where we cook food for breakfast as well as for lunch. And all the cupboards, fridges, freezers all inside there. And then this little area where we prep with the chef. And if you want to keep it around there. So we're getting butter chicken and rice, which we're still cooking for lunch.
So it's all cooked fresh?
It's all cooked fresh, yes. Will be ready in next 2 hours for lunch. Yep. Then on the drinks, full-fledged coffee machine here. And then the till in the front.
That was an interesting little tour. It's great to know that the meals are cooked fresh on the day. Ararat. This is the terminus of V-Line's Ararat train service from Melbourne. Platform 1 is the end of the broad gauge track. From here on, the stations are only served by the Overland train. V-Line operates a coach service from Ararat to Horsham and Dimboola, where passengers can catch another coach to Adelaide. The trip from Melbourne to Adelaide with V-Line costs $68.60 for adults and only $34.30 for concession card holders, including students. Shortly after we left Ararat, the majestic Grampians National Park could be seen in the near distance. Stawell is a gateway to the Grampians. This is where the seasonal Great Southern Train passengers get off to enjoy their off-train excursions. Lunch is served at 12:15. There are 3 choices. The curry of the day is butter chicken. It was cooked fresh, as you just saw in the kitchen. The curry tastes very creamy. It is mild, so I think everyone will be able to handle it. The chicken was cut into tiny pieces to make it easy to consume. It has fully absorbed the flavor of the curry, and the sauce mixes well with the jasmine rice. I totally enjoyed it. After the main course, we were served a slice of macadamia and mango cheesecake. Again, it was lovely. Compared to the red carriage, Red Premium is not as crowded. There's more space between each seat, which means more privacy and a quieter environment. Back in the lounge car, for lunch, passengers in red can purchase sandwiches, Mrs. Mac's pies and sausage rolls. Limited servings of curry and cakes are also available, but they are very popular and sold out quickly. Neale is the last station that the Overland stops at in Victoria. Just 1.8 kilometers west of the now disused Silverstone railway station, we crossed the Victoria-South Australia border. South Australia observes Australian Central Standard Time in winter. It's half an hour behind Victoria.
Two border stations and send them off to your daughters. Border town, yay, been to border town.
The towns in South Australia are much smaller and less populated than in Victoria, and many railway stations have been abandoned. The Overland only stops at Bordertown and Murray Bridge before arriving in Adelaide. The afternoon tea was served before arriving Murray Bridge. It was a slice of carrot cake. Murray Bridge is the 5th largest city in South Australia, formerly known as Edwards Crossing. It was renamed Murray Bridge in 1924, deriving its name from this rail bridge we are travelling on. This is the second time that I crossed the Murray River on my trip from Cairns. Unlike the Spirit of Queensland, where passengers can get off and stretch their legs at some stations, the Overland only stops very briefly at each station. Therefore, passengers are not allowed to disembark the train unless it's their final destination. It takes the Overland 10.5 hours to travel from Melbourne to Adelaide. However, I think Journey Beyond and the staff on board have made my journey very comfortable. I love the 2 hot meals and the snacks that they offered in Red Premium, and I appreciate the PowerPoints available on this old train. If you are travelling in winter, you will also be able to enjoy the amazing sunset as the train descends into Adelaide City. The Overland terminates at Adelaide Parklands Terminal in the suburb of Keswick. It was built to handle all long-distance passenger trains in Adelaide. It's not the station that the Adelaide suburban trains use in the heart of the city. Besides the Overland, the Ghan to Darwin and the seasonal Great Southern to Brisbane also originate at this station. Welcome to Adelaide! The final leg of my journey from Adelaide to Perth involves travelling across one of the most remote regions in this country. The Indian Pacific is the only passenger train that still travels between Adelaide and Perth. The train originates in Sydney every Wednesday afternoon and arrives in Adelaide on Thursday afternoon. Operated by Journey Beyond, the Indian Pacific is an experiential tourism train. No matter what class you travel in, the ticket includes all-inclusive meals, beverages, a private cabin, shower and off-train excursions. This video is already very long, so I will show you this Indian Pacific journey in more detail in my next video. I'm only going to briefly show you what the experience is like now. As I have already reviewed Gold Single and the Platinum Cabin on other Journey Beyond trains, this time I booked myself a Gold Twin Cabin. Similar to the layout of the XPT Sleeper, the cabin is a 3-seater lounge during the day that transforms into a lower and upper sleeping berth at night. I paid extra money for me to have the cabin to myself. Each Gold Twin Cabin has a compact ensuite bathroom with a shower. My morning began with a hearty 2-course breakfast and a mouth-watering lunch. For most of the journey today is travelling across the Nullarbor Plain, so passengers have plenty of time to socialise and enjoy all-inclusive beverages at the lounge car or relax in their own cabins. The Gold Twin Cabin is much more spacious than the Gold Single Cabin. It is very private. We had a 30-minute stop at the South Australian ghost town of Cook. This once a bustling support town for the railway is now home to lonely buildings and a population that you can count on one hand. We crossed the South Australia and Western Australia border in the afternoon. As the night falls, the train stopped at Rawlinna for over 2 hours. This remote town is 5 hours drive from the nearest city of Kalgoorlie. We get to enjoy a glass of wine while listening to the live music and counting the stars above us. Dinner is served back on the train. It was a delicious 3-course meal prepared by the onboard chefs using fresh, local ingredients. Good morning! When I woke up, the Indian Pacific was travelling through the eastern Goldfields region. Then it went through the vibrant Wheat Belt region and the Avon Valley before terminating at East Perth Terminal in the afternoon. Other than the Indian Pacific, East Perth is also the terminus of Trans-WA's regional train services to Northern, Merredin and Kalgoorlie, as well as its coach services to the Midwest and Southern WA. To get to the city, you can catch the Perth Suburban Midland or Airport Line train from the adjacent platform, and you will arrive at Perth Station in just 5 minutes' time.
Next station, Facebook.
Welcome to Perth, the capital of Western Australia, the world's loneliest city, and the end of my 7,000-kilometre trip from Cairns. From Perth Station, if you wish, you can continue to travel south to Bunbury with the Australind train. Thank you so much for watching. I tried to make this video as short as possible, but it still turned out to be longer than I expected. I just don't want to miss out any information that I think is important. If you find my content interesting or helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more train and flight reviews. My next video will be the more detailed review of my Indian Pacific trip from Adelaide to Perth. See you soon!